Hello, everybody. My name is Embraced, and welcome to the Ember City. Now, you may be wondering, what is the Ember City? The Ember City is the world we're playing on right now. It is a single-player world where I have been kind of experimenting and playing around with trying to be more creative, essentially, to make more builds in survival without pre-planning them, essentially. Specifically, I had this idea the other day. Oh my goodness! I had this idea the other day for uh, a build in a world kind of around the aesthetic of Victorian. One second. Got him. Around the aesthetic of Victorian gaslight. And for those who probably don't know what that is, the Victorian gaslight is an aesthetic that kind of functions around the time of like the Industrial Revolution in England, and that kind of came with a blossoming of a technology through this very large, expansive city. But it also came with the inclusion of gaslight lamps. And so that created this kind of feeling of like low lighting throughout the entire city at night. This is where we have it cleared out. The goal kind of is to get this as a jumping off point. I want to kind of plan out the outlay of the city, but more specifically, I want to get the road down to see what it would be like to walk through the city and feel what it feels like to kind of be in the city itself. So over here, we have some of the resources that I've already pre-gathered to get this process started. And we are going to get started on that. Ooh. Hmm. 3. we've gotten a majority of the blocks down to give us kind of a feel for how the path is going to come along and come together. I really like how the concrete powder is broken up by these little moments. Like people are actually walking on this path. It makes it feel very stepped on. That's kind of the goal that I'm going for with this moment, is that I really want them to feel like the city exists and is alive. That its people are not the only people that inhabit the city, but that people are going to come and go and be a part of it. A few things that I do want to do is I do want to let these grates oxidize a bit more, because I wanted this kind of like touch of blue to tie the blue of the gray concrete powder to the acacia to the brown. One thing I'm unsure about is that I want to potentially design the roof of the tunnel, but I haven't quite come to terms with what I want that to look like yet. And so while I am trying to think of that, one of the things that I wanted to show off was a concept I had to kind of also give this feeling of like a city. You can kind of see here and maybe able to observe that we got the name Amber City from amber, or in this case honey, but the feeling of like the city is powered by amber. And one of the things that I think that can really make it feel like it's powered by amber is by having it feel just a little bit like New York City, or I guess London, if you've ever been to those larger cities. Just like every once in a while, not too frequently, little puffs of steam will come out of the vents, like there's work being done in these tunnels, like there's exhaust to be put off. It also, I think, is a nice touch because we are in such a cold area. It starts to feel like London or New York, where like the heat coming out of the vents is the thing that's causing the steam and smoke to be so visible to the naked eye. After I kind of think of some of what I want to do with the roof, I think we're going to kind of do a little bit of a layout of how the city is going to be formatted. And we'll come to terms with how that's going to look then. The thing I was thinking about is that I did want to add uh, wheat underneath those grates that have the campfires in them, so that it can be a little bit more visible and we can see that smoke rise up a little bit more frequently. So we're just going to need to grab some of that real quick. We didn't get too many, but we got enough for how many I think we'll need. I shouldn't need more than 11 hay bales. Surely. Surely. We'll get these hay bales down, and that should make the steam come up a little bit more frequently. Maybe not. But I think it increases the frequency. I could be. Yeah, there we go. So it is. It's a little bit more frequent. We just want to give it every little chance that we can to have it kind of show off the ambiance of. There we go. That's nice. I like that. I am a big fan. Something along those lines where it feels more sheltered from the elements, because it really does. It has this little overhang protecting. But now that that's happened, I think we're going to try and clean up this tunnel and make it feel much more like a tunnel. This is so dumb. respawn. It's fine. I didn't want to kill him anyway. I didn't want to kill him anyway. Ooh. Ah. So 1, 2, something like that. 1, 2, 3. Have a nice little pretty arch. Nice little pretty arch. Like, overcome the support. Ah! Because this is very subtle. This is almost like... This is almost a complete box, and that's kind of on purpose, is that I want this to feel structurally sound. And I want this to feel structurally sound. And I want it to feel like it's supporting something that needs the help in being held up. I need something that feels kind of round and bowish. I think that's better. I kind of like that. And then we... Beep. Yes. Oh. And the point of like this whole city is that it's like in development. It's not quite a place of wonder and technological advancement. They are advancing. And so like something like this really bowed roof, they're like figuring out how to support rounded things. Okay. And there we go. The roundness of the tunnel I really feel comfortable and happy with, especially like right here. For some reason, like the same blocks being on different levels creates this feeling of like it's slightly bending into it. But I don't think we're quite done because there are a few things that I'd like to get done. I truly want to make it have this feeling of like I'm kind of back and forth on this. So I want to incorporate the honey and the amber feeling into the ceiling, but I also want to break up this wall texture. And I think I also want to provide lighting, and I think I can do those at the same time. I'm just not exactly sure how I want to go about doing that. So I have a few concepts in mind that I'm going to try and test out. This and this. So right here. We can do something along the lines of this. Very similar to the floor. We're creating this feeling of really textured fluid. That is the goal, is to kind of have this textured fluid that is doing things unbeknownst to the people. Boom, 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 boom. Which doesn't look bad. I don't hate this. But I also kind of feel like it takes away from this. So I really love that like sheen that it has. Especially whenever we start getting this oxidation happening. Speaking of which, stop that from occurring. Hello. And then you. Okay. So it's nice, especially whenever we do get effect that feeling. And I think that does work better. It does help me see it a little bit more. I don't hate that as much. Because then it connects the floor to the wall. And it breaks up this kind of one note. Speaking of which, I do plan on texturing this a little bit. But I'm not quite sure how I want to go about doing that yet. So we have this as an idea. And then I also wanted to try something else as well. Efficient. Actually could bring it forward as well, if I wanted to emphasize it more. But let's get an example down of what I'm trying to do here before I go crazy. Something like this. Similar feeling, similar vibe, but instead it's one of them. Ooh. It's a slight hint, a slight tech, like a... It's a lot more subtle, so... I'd have to integrate that as well, because it is a different texture. I'd have to do a lot more with... honestly... I could, instead of making this like... So this is like kind of meant to be a pipe or a wire, or however you want to conceptualize that. What I could do is I could do little moments like this in the build, while also having this be distinct. So if we can grab that feeling... Sorry. If we can grab that feeling early and make it have this concept pop out... You're starting to get used to it as you go through the city. And I also wanted to try... Oh my gosh. Hello, little fella. I wanted to try this. Because this is nice and lovely. It's in the wall. But what if we bring this forward? It does something to break up the shape, which I am kind of enjoying. Okay. That also looks good, but I fear it looks the same as well. And it kind of ruins the illusion that there is honey in the pipe itself. It makes a little less sense. I don't think I want to go with that. Something like guess so. Ah, that's where I saved on shroom lights. I knew I saved them somewhere. There. And there. And there. That feels nice and dandy. Oh, yes. I remember what I was doing. You forgot. I didn't forget. So, I think we do have to break up this wall. So I think we do want this. I think I'm a bigger fan of that. Yeah, I like that. Something small, but provides a wee tad bit of interest in the wall. Nice. Lovely, jubbly. Bam, bam, bam. Bam. Bam, bam. There we are. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm starting to like this a lot more. Big fan, big fan, big fan. And then we do the same thing on this side, and then I think I'm gonna try and show y'all what I want to do with the lights. And there we go. That is really starting to come together. I am starting to really be happy with how this is feeling. It really does start to feel like a tunnel into a city. Like it's got this feeling of being walked through and used, but it's also still got utility, it's got power, it's being provided for. It's got an odd shape to it. Like it's like an oval, but it's for a reason. Like they're trying to do circles, but they're not quite there yet. Like it feels like the ceiling is bowing down on you because they can't quite get it right. And I'm actually kind of a huge fan of that. And I think the last thing that we are going to get done today is we are going to figure out the lighting overhead, and then I think we can kind of do a feel of how this is coming along. So the thing that I think we're going to need to really nail that feeling of kind of overhead lighting that is industrial by design, but unrefined, I think we're going to need a lot of iron. So let's do this. Then we're going to make hoppers. Jeez, chains are expensive. Okay, some more chains. And then I think the concept is kind of on display that we're going to have hoppers above to kind of bring this feeling down into the chain, into the lantern. And then we can kind of descend the lantern into the tunnel. Have some overhead lighting. That way that the low glow feeling is still maintained, but to where the walls don't feel so dark. Because people live here, and people do have some semblance of want and desire, and that is a balance that I am trying to strike, is a feeling of a incoming and ushering of industrialization, but humanity is still kind of ebbing and flowing and existing within it. And let's see if we can get that feeling in our roof. So, we break it like so. You put a hopper, chain, and a lantern. Oh, I do like that. Yes, I do. But I think the thing... Actually, no, I kind of like it being set into the roof. I was thinking about raising the center piece a little bit, but it being raised on the roof truly does feel a bit technical, and I am a fan of that. So I think the spacing that I'll enjoy for this, here. Okay. And then one here as well. Yeah. Like a show. Bink. There we go. Oh goodness. And that is, hold on. And that is quite lovely. Ay! And that is quite lovely. It really is grabbing that feeling that I want. Oh yeah, I am a big fan of that. It does feel like you're starting to kind of like come into something a little bit bigger, and oh! And I do like that. Obviously, we need to get some of these grates to oxidize to really get the full feeling and to have the build to be complete. But I am actually really satisfied with this. Actually, I'll try one more thing that I just thought of, because it occurred to me, and it may actually look quite good. If we can kind of inset these pipes a little bit. Because I still want that feeling of them to be a little profound, but not too much, and this may do it for me. Oh, actually, I'm kind of in love with that. Oh, I'm actually a big fan. And we'll do 10 more on the other side. Remember to replace the back wall. Bum, 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 bum. And there we have it. That is looking quite lovely. And with that, I think that will do it. I think that will complete our first delving into the Amber City. We have an entrance, we have a feeling, a vibe that we're really starting to really enjoy, and I'm happy with how this is coming together. All right. Thank y'all for watching. My name has been Embraced, and I will see y'all next time.